Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Dakota Hart with Hart Films. Today we're going to be talking about my latest buy and one of my favorite lenses currently in the arsenal, and that's the Rokinon 14mm f2.8. Let's get talking about it.
Raise up the yard right now. Tell me who you are, get in the car right now. You for the stars, I want it all right now. Tell me who you are, get in the car right now. You for the stars, I want it all right now. Tell me who you are, get in the car right now.
So the first things right off the bat that I want to say, why I bought this lens. So the way that I built my kit over time is really focused on affordability, not necessarily buying the best quality up front. So what that meant was I would buy a lot of smaller prime lenses as opposed to some really high quality zooms over time. And that meant that I had not really accumulated a wide angle lens. So my options were buying a 16-35 option from either Sigma or Sony, which is going to be looking at the $1,500 to $2,000+ mark, or one of the 11-20mm options that are offered by Tamron and some other companies. All of those looking to be $1,000+. In walks Rokinon 14mm f2.8 that you can find on their website, buyrokinon.com, retailing for, get this, $528. If it is still that, I'm gonna put the price right there. So that price, whatever that is what you buy it for right now online. So let's talk about though, why I like this lens. Okay, it's perfect for real estate photography, real estate videos. It's great for establishing shots. Anything you need to shoot wide, I have had no issues with it. So far, I have not noticed any chromatic aberration or any kind of weird distortion along the edges, even all the way open at f2.8. No vignetting to my knowledge that I've been able to see. We'll be throwing some clips up right now so you'll be able to judge that for yourselves, but I haven't been able to notice anything to that effect myself. The next thing that I really like about this lens is the weight and build. Normally, whenever you start getting into more affordable lenses, they feel really plasticky and they're really light, which is a nightmare for balancing on the gimbal. This is the perfect weight. It's not too heavy to where it's just leaning everything forward and you're having to add counterweights on the back, but it's also not so light that it feels cheap and plasticky. Whenever you're kind of tossing it up in the air, it's got a little bit of beef to it, and I like that in a lens. The next thing that I really like is the autofocus. The autofocus is fantastic. I've tried it in wide, center, spot focus, all these different focus modes and photo focus modes and everything. I've had no issues, no hiccups, nothing like that. I do have one small issue with it though, that we'll talk about in the next section. So the last thing I want to point out on the positive side of this lens that I really enjoy is the minimum focusing distance. Minimum focusing distance. Minimum focusing distance. Hey, minimum focusing distance. It's 0.66 feet, otherwise known to you metric folks out there as 0.2 meters. But the reason that I like having a shallower focusing distance like that is it allows me to get a lot of parallaxing effects with small details. I move the small detail to the forward portion of the frame, and as I'm moving around that object, the entire environment revolves around that object, creating, you guessed it, the cool parallax effect that I really like, the one I was just talking about. Go check it out. It's in some of our wedding films, so go watch some of our wedding films. Actually, you know what? Come to think of it, pause the video right now. Stop watching. Thank you. We're gonna stop the video right there. You need to go and check out some of our other videos. We got videos on our YouTube channel that are wedding films. We got videos on there that are gear reviews. So it would mean the world to me right now. If you pause this video right now, drop a like while you're at it, and go check out some of our other videos. One of my favorites right now is the Boundary Supply Errant Hat review. It was done a couple of years ago, but I still love that video a lot. Thank you so much. Because I'm not hyped enough right now. But really, I'm gonna take a coffee break. You go check out those videos. We'll be right back.
Right now.
Tell me who you are, get in the car.
Right.
So now that we're back, we're gonna talk about the things that I do not like about this lens, because there's really not a lot of them. There's really not. But I gotta talk about them because otherwise they're gonna be like, oh, you just like Rokinon fanboy. No one's gonna listen to you. Shut up, okay? Nobody asked you. But since you asked me, I'm gonna talk about the things I don't like. Number one is this whole lens hood, lens cap situation. There's other lenses, I was actually talking with Leroy about this, that are like this, but I still don't like it. The lens hood is permanently attached to the lens. Why I don't like this is because it really increases the overall footprint of the lens a lot. Whenever I'm trying to pack lenses in a Pelican case or in an over-the-shoulder bag, I'm really trying to save as much square footage as I can, and this thing just kind of seems like it unnecessarily takes up a lot of extra space. So I'm not a huge fan of that. I'm also not a fan of the fact that the lens cap is this weird, cover kind of thing, because I feel like they're just a little bit harder to find than a standard lens cap that you get at a, at a different size, like a 62, 67, 72 millimeter, any one of those. The next thing that I don't like is kind of also connected to that. It's kind of the opposite of what I just said, if that makes sense. But even with this lens hood, the glass still feels kind of exposed. One of the reasons that I like having a lens hood on a lens is that it always seems to kind of protect the glass element on the front from scratches, from dust, and obviously from lens flares. I haven't noticed any flaring on the lens. I haven't noticed any haziness that happens whenever I point it in different directions, but I haven't done extensive testing on this thing, so that's not to say that it doesn't have that, but in general, when you look from the side right here, you can still see the front portions of the element, and it just feels a little bit exposed to me. Could just be me. Maybe I'm being picky. Actually, on second thought, I know I'm being picky because that's the whole point of this, is I really don't think there's anything wrong with this lens, but I'm just pointing some nitpicky stuff out for you. So let's keep going. The last thing that I want to point out about this lens is actually something that's kind of a small problem, but you're only going to notice it if you're using your on-camera audio, and that is the noise from the focus motor. I have only noticed it on-camera audio. I don't notice it when I'm using a shotgun microphone on my camera because it's a little bit more directional, but when I'm using my on-camera built-in microphone on my Sony a7 III, I pick up a little teeny bit of... Thank you. So yeah, I pick up a little bit of focus motor noise whenever I'm doing that, and that is really the only real negative that I have about this lens. I mean, whenever we're talking about lenses that are sub $1,000, let alone sub $2,000, you know, this thing is great. Bang for your buck. I mean, it's got autofocus. It has fantastic image quality. It feels like great build quality. It's a good weight. I have nothing to complain about. What do you want me to say? What more do you want from me? What do you want me to say? You want the kids too? Anyway, so that's all I have to say about this lens. It's a great lens. If you need it for real estate, wide shots, establishing shots, go ahead, go pick one of these up today. I will say shipping took kind of a little while. It took a little while to get shipped out, probably a week to get it shipped out. Once it shipped, I had it in like 3 days. So what are you waiting for? Get to it. See you around. We're rolling? Where's the lens? Thank you. What am I gonna say right there? Welcome. Oh, that hurt. that hurt.
We're talking about this lens and he comes and flexing
Here
on
I
that.
am talking about sub $500 wide angle lenses, and he's like, oh, look at that.
Look at this.
Family here.
How's it going?
It's not like I'm streaming this on Netflix, you know? You should.
But we should.
I should.
We will one day.
Netflix, you need gear reviews. Who's to say, really? My nose itches. Conclusion. Ooh, almost dropped it.